Okay guys, so today we'll be making authentic African print head wraps that will be double-sided. This is one that was already made. I didn't want to mess up on camera. And it measures around 24 inches long. And if we take a look on the inside, we'll see how the other print presents itself. Pretty self-explanatory. I think it's a great contrast with prints. And this measures around 64 inches long. Of course, you need to add seam allowance, but you can do that to your discretion. And if you don't want it to be so long or so wide, you can, shave off a little bit off the length and the width. I just wanted mine like this because I like to have a big ball at the front. No big deal. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put the pre-made to the side and unravel this really nice fabric. One thing about African fabric is that it definitely has a right side and a wrong side. The right side is very, very strong. The print has definitely gone through the fabric, whereas the wrong side is a little bit light. You can tell there's some white spots in it, and that's how you can make sure that you don't sew clothes or anything inside out. Just look for a side that looks a little bit more faded and put it on the inside. So right now I'm going to use the pre-made as a stencil. If you don't already have something pre-made, just remember the measurements are 24 inches by 64 inches, which is pretty long. But like I said, you can use your discretion on how you want to make your head wrap, if you want to make it as long as mine or as thick as mine. So I'm going to line it up and take it to the course of the table and make sure all the edges are lined up properly so that I have a symmetric head wrap. So I'm going to repeat the same process for this lovely piece of fabric, and you can shave a little bit off the length and the width if you think my stencil is too big. Once again, I like to have a big ball at the front of my head, but you can definitely use your discretion. Okay guys, so what we're going to do next is we have the wrong sides of the fabric on the outside and the dominant sides facing the inside because we want to pin along the corner. Remember, the wrong side is a little bit faded. The right side is dominant, so we have the two dominant sides facing each other. Because after we pin the edges, we want to sew along the edges as well and then flip it inside out, meaning we're only going to pin 3 corners of this fabric. And don't forget, the washed out side is going to be the side that is on the outside, and the strong sides are on the inside. Okay, so I finished pinning the 64 inches on two sides and the 24-inch on one side. And the reason why we are pinning is because we're going to sew these three sides so that we are able to then pull it through like a pillow. And we're going to go in through the open third side and pull all the fabric through before we sew that corner shut. And one thing you want to make sure before you bring it to sew is that everything is nice and flat so that when you do sew, you don't have any, like I say, air pockets or something like that. You just want to make sure the fabric. As you see the pin's hair, I'm going to sew a little bit underneath the line, maybe like in ½ an inch, just to shave off a little bit more of the length of it, okay? And if you're wondering what kind of machine this is, I have an industrial sewing machine, and it moves pretty fast without me even speeding up the video. I definitely contemplated like, should I even speed this up? But yeah, this is an industrial sewing machine. All right, so we have successfully sewed the three sides of the fabric. Move this doggone remote. So we've sewn along the first 64 inches, and then we also did the 24 inches, and then we did the other 64. And what we are going to do now is we're going to flip the fabric inside out, and please make sure to push out your corners. And my camera dies. Okay, so what we did here was we folded the fabric into each other and then pinned it closed so that you have a complete closure of the head wrap. And you want to make sure again that it's neat, and you want to sew as close to the edge as possible. All right, so this is what this side will look like now. Everything's enclosed. There is nothing showing. We folded the fabric in and then sewed it closed so that now we have a head wrap and all the sides are covered. And yes, this fabric is very stiff. So what I'm also going to have to do is wash it and use a lot of fabric softener just to soften it out a little bit. But the fabric is definitely very stiff. All right, so now we have a finished head wrap. It's very long. You'll have a nice big ball at the front. But what I will say is that this fabric is very, very, very stiff. So you definitely have to wash it with some good fabric softener. And yeah, but this is my third one making with this fabric. I love the fabric. I think it's very bold, both of them. They just have two different vibes to them. And if you would like to purchase, I'll leave a link in the bio where you can purchase it from, either the fabric or the head wrap itself. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And thank you guys for coming to my channel.